Okay. I think I got it together now. Um, so this is just going to be me rambling a little bit because I can talk faster than I can type. I'm a writer by nature. Um, I'm not sure. I probably will share this, but this is one of those things where I mean, hell, I'm over here with my tarot, my oracle cards, and so we are already into that already. But we're about to go into a little bit of conspiracy territory. I'll put it out there now. I am not. I, I'm spiritual, but I guess I'm not as spiritual as some folks out here. I'm not one of those conspiracy theorists, spiritualists who believes that the earth is flat. I don't subscribe to um, a lot of theories or beliefs about soul contracts. I think the whole concept of soul contracts is a bunch of BS. And according to my spirit guides, now, just some folks might say my spirit guides are wrong. I trust my people. But according to my spirit guides, we don't get to choose. We can ask, or we can kind of make it known to God or the universe or the Most High, whoever's in charge of putting this down here. We could maybe request some things, but we don't just outright get to choose what goes on, or we agree to go through these experiences because we're supposed to evolve our souls, and we're here to raise the collective vibrations. And I don't I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. I think a lot of that, people who say stuff like that comes from a very privileged place, because there are a lot of folks on this earth who go through things that we couldn't imagine. Um, and I just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm not spiritual enough for that. Anyway, um, but I know what I know as far as like having dreams, and sometimes those dreams being a little along the lines of prophetic, or maybe not necessarily prophetic as in like seeing the future, but just kind of seeing what's going on in the world at present. But I have a fascination with the sky and with space. I always have. Now, I'm not an expert on that either. I know a little bit. I know a little bit, and I have my ideas. I have my theories. I'm always open to learning more. Okay. So lately, since around Thanksgiving, there have been a lot of reports about these mysterious drones up in the sky, mostly around the northeastern part of the United States, New Jersey in particular. But it's happening worldwide, right? Now, this isn't necessarily, well, it is going to be a tarot reading, but this is interesting to me because, like I said, I've always had this interest in the sky and what's happening in the sky. Like, some people believe that the ocean is space. And I don't know if I fully comprehend that either, because I'm like, you can literally look up and see space. But maybe it's me that's missing something. Because I can admit that I don't know everything. Sometimes I do be missing things. Sometimes I do. But anyway, about these drones. About a month, well, about 2 months ago, month and a half ago, I started trying to put forth a concerted effort to write down my dreams, or at least the really weird dreams that I wake up and I'm like, what the hell was that? Sometimes I think it's just, my brain working out stuff and doing what brains do while we sleep. And at other times, I'm like, I feel like this dream was something. It was something, or it meant something, and I just don't know what it is yet. I just gotta wait and see. Well, like a few weeks ago, late October, I had this dream where I looked up into the sky and I saw what I imagine an aurora borealis looks like in person. I've never seen one for myself in person, but I've seen pictures of it. I missed the opportunity to see them in person, which is really crazy because it's a rare occurrence. This year, like, there's been all type of stuff happening in the sky, and it's very, very, very unprecedented. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's a leap year, or if it's the fact that in this particular part of the planet we got to have a total solar eclipse, or what. But I've been noticing stuff. So anyway, back to the dream. I had this dream where, and I have my notes right here on my laptop from when I wrote down about this dream. But I dreamed that I was looking up into the sky and I saw some weird stuff. It looked like an aurora. It looked like smoke or like colorful clouds or something that was in the sky. You know, didn't know what it was. Could have been stardust. It could have been pixie dust. It could have been anything. But it was just all these weird colors in the sky. And I remember looking up and seeing clusters of like planets. Now, these planets are obviously millions of miles away and millions of miles apart from each other, but it seemed like they were just super close. Like, sometimes it happens where the planets will line up and you can see them with the naked eye at certain times of late night, early morning, just before twilight, or just before sunrise, or just after sunset, or what have you. Right? I've never seen it with my own four eyes because I haven't had the opportunity to. I live in the city, as you can hear in the background. I live in the middle of the city. There's a lot of light pollution, and then on top of that, I just don't get up early enough to notice stuff like that in person. But I do like to look at the stars and notice, oh, there's the moon and there's Venus right there, and you know, look at these shapes and stuff in the sky, right? That's me. Well, in my dream, I saw these things, but I saw them up close. It's like I could see Saturn, like with the naked eye. It was so close, right? And as far as I know, you can't see Saturn with the naked eye. You need to have at least a halfway decent set of binoculars or a halfway decent, moderately priced telescope to be able to see Saturn. It really blows my mind that a planet like Saturn could even exist in the first place. It's so, you know, you just think about how big this planet has to be in order for us to see it here, right? If it's actually however many millions, hundreds of millions of miles away from us, like how big does it have to be that we can still see it, right? It's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I'm seeing in the dream, I'm seeing stuff in the sky. I don't know what it is. And then I see people. The scenery changes around me. And then I see people. It's like I'm a fly on the wall. And I see these people. I see a woman at the top of the stairs. There's a set of stairs. There's a woman at the top and a woman at the bottom. They're talking to each other, but I can't quite make out what they're saying. And then all of a sudden, the woman at the top of the stairs is standing next to a mirror, and I see this mirror, and I see it looks like a mirror within a mirror within a mirror, right? So then the woman who's at the top of the stairs and she's standing next to this mirror, she smashes the mirror, and the woman at the bottom of the stairs, she just crumples to the floor. Like, that mirror was her escape, or that was like her portal, I guess, to get back to wherever she came from. So I still don't know if that dream means anything, or if that was just my brain doing weird stuff while I was sleeping. But that's not the first dream that I've ever had where I've, in my dream, been floating around in space, or I look up in the sky and I see things, or I see asteroids, or really other planets like dangerously close to us, right? So in the last year or so, it's become public knowledge, like the United States government has been more vocal about there being, you know, extraterrestrials here on Earth, and they're being kept in some secret location, right? And a lot of conspiracy spiritualist people are feeling somewhat vindicated, like, oh, we knew. you know I don't know. I don't know. And I don't really know where I'm going with this, to be perfectly honest. I just know that there's something happening. I don't know if these drones are from our government, if they're from a government, from a different country, if these drones are from a different planet, different solar system. I don't know. I also don't believe that there's this mass awakening that's happening right now. Like, some people, I feel like a lot of people are saying that, and just with the power of social media, it seems like there are a lot more people who are quote unquote woke than there were before. I don't necessarily believe that's the case either. If anything, it seems like we're taking a step back towards, I guess, the old ways, more conservative ways, which I'm not upset about that, honestly, because I'm not that I'm conservative, not by far. It's just I kind of miss when you know people like me were weird. Because I know I say it often in a lot of my videos. I know that gatekeeping is considered a bad word now, but I think a certain level of gatekeeping is necessary because everybody cannot handle certain amount of information or certain types of information. Hence the reason why we have so much foolery on the internet nowadays on any and every topic. It's like so many people can speak with authority on things, and turns out they're absolutely fraudulent. So I'll put it out there. Like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. I just be talking. It's conjecture, right? It's speculation. It's just me throwing some stuff out here, and I don't want to say see what sticks, but I'm just exploring ideas. I'll say it like that. I'm exploring ideas. So I just want to explore a little bit as far as what these drones are about. So I'm going to use these ancestor cards, Beloved Dead. I keep wanting to say Beloved because there was that book by Toni Morrison called Beloved. And so now when I see the word beloved, I think beloved. Don't even sound right when I just say beloved. But it like I stay watching the sky. Like I'm constantly looking at the sky. I'm looking at, like, I like to look at the news and see what reports they put out about, the goings on in the sky, what they've learned about in space and everything. I remember I took astronomy back in college. I think I did pretty well in that class too. That was when I learned about the sun, how the sun will one day burn out, but before it burns out, like with every star that I suppose we have observed so far, the sun, the way the sun is going to burn out eventually is that it's going to expand, and while it expands, it's going to swallow up everything for so many billions or millions of miles, right? So I think, as it expands, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and I think even Mars will get swallowed up into the sun before it finally shrinks in on itself and burns out. Which puts things in perspective for me, because I'm like, all of this is temporary. All of this is very temporary. Like, I don't want to say it don't matter, but 99% of the stuff that goes on here on this planet right now don't matter. Like a lot of the stuff that we stress over, it's like, it's gonna all be over soon anyway. Not to sound morose, but I'm just saying, like, when you put it in perspective, and even just to realize how small Earth is in comparison to the universe, and in comparison to our solar system. Our solar system is tiny in comparison to everything else that's out there. Like, that I've seen things where they say eventually, like, how do they know this? I don't know, but these people are so smart and they got their calculations and stuff, and so I'm like, okay. So according to their calculations and their observations, eventually our galaxy is going to collide with, I think, the Andromeda galaxy one day, and then this. Now, what happens when galaxies collide? I don't know. And hopefully, I won't be reincarnated when it happens. Hopefully, I'll be somewhere else. But and according to their calculations, the smart people's calculations, that's not going to happen for like billions and billions of years. But it just puts into perspective how small everything really is. I mean, it's big. Like, things that we go through on a day to day is big for us in the moment, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it's so small. So minute. And it doesn't really matter that much. So, attention. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, ancestors. Thank you. Justice. So, if I remember, if I decide to share this on YouTube, I had to remember to put a link to the blog post that I wrote earlier this year. And I don't. It's funny, even when I share my readings, I don't share everything that I see in the cards. So at the beginning of the year, I did readings on just what 2024 would look like. It didn't look very good at all. And this year, I thought 2023 was bad. Like, this year, for the world at large, has been kind of a shit show. But one thing, a recurring theme that I saw when I pulled cards for the new year for 2024, and then when I pulled cards for the solar eclipse back in April of this year, was justice, right? So everything happening with the energy of the eclipse and all the stuff that was happening in the sky, the solar eclipse, the lunar eclipses, and all of that. Even though eclipses happen all the time, it's like, no, these were different. These were different. And then on top of that, this was a leap year. What does that have to do with anything? I have no idea. I don't know. But one thing I learned about the aurora borealis is that, for one, where I am in the country, they don't happen that often. But it happened twice this year. That's strange. An aurora is basically an electrical storm. And so when we did have it here, I was speaking to my great grandmother, who was an ancestor, one of my ancestors, in spirit, and I said, "Oh, I wish I could go outside and take pictures, or maybe I could put my crystals in the window so that they can be charged by the energy of the aurora borealis." And she said, "Hell no." She said, "Take your butt in the house." That's what she told me. Why? Because she said there's too many haints out there walking around. I'm like, okay, fine, right? So anyway, I do a little bit of research into finding out, okay, what are some cultures' beliefs as far as what the aurora, the northern lights, what they mean, right? What is the significance of this natural phenomena, right? Well, turns out that the aurora is a electromagnetic storm, basically. Well, our spirits, our souls, the things that what powers us is basically electricity. Like we are conductors of electricity, basically. So it in a very pseudo-scientific way. It is why sometimes when people die, our loved ones will pass away, then they try to reach out to us in the afterlife, like they'll flicker lights and shit. The reason they can do that is because they are electricity, basically. Like that energy is manifest in as electricity, right? Like our bodies conduct electricity, which is why, if your heart stops, then sometimes they'll use the defibrillator on your heart to pump electricity into your heart to start your heart again, right? Because we're electrical beings, right? Now, mind you, again, science is not my forte, right? Like, it's not my thing. I'm a liberal arts student. I write poetry. I write poetry and I read tarot cards. Okay. But I get the gist of them. I can't always explain them the way that the way that I understand them, but I get it though. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyhow, with the aurora borealis being this big ass electrical storm, there's a lot of spirits walking around. And my grandmother, with me being as sensitive as I am, she's like, "No, take your behind in the house and lay down somewhere, because you don't need to be out there, because they know that you can feel them. I can't always see them, can't hear them, thank God, but I do experience them. I do feel them, right?" And like I said, that happened twice this year. It's unusual for my part of the world where I live at. So the veil, the proverbial veil, or hell, it might be a literal one, it is thinning, right? According to my observations and according to what I've been told from folks on the other side, right? They tell me stuff. I don't always repeat it because I'm like, let me sit back and watch it. Who's going to listen to me anyway? I don't have a huge audience. And even if I did, I'm like, I don't know if I want that smoke. I don't know if I want to sit up and say what I think I know or what I heard. And then y'all asking me, well, how you know? A spirit told me. No. I don't think I'm about that life. And like I said, I'm just sitting here rambling. So if you're listening, then God bless you. But anyway, I said all of that to say that earlier this year, I did do readings on both the new year, the year as a whole, and um and the solar eclipse, and justice, balance, everything. The scales are balancing, right? Spirit is making itself more known to people, to the living, right? Trying to say, okay, we're dead, but we're not really dead. Like, we still here. And then there are some entities that exist that we could never imagine, right? We can't even fathom like how they exist or how they work, right? So this call to attention and balancing the scales and the justice, right? This is not to say that all wrongs will be righted. I don't know if I believe that will ever happen. I'm not saying that the world's gonna come to an end. Although, just looking at mankind, we well on our way. I'm like, y'all are so damn self destructive. Perception. Perception is how you see things. Chicken. I don't know what the book says this card means, but when I hear chicken, when I think of chicken, I think of fear. Right? I think of fear. This is coming into coming face to face with what we, when I say we, I mean we as a whole, as a collective, what we think we know about everything, anything and everything, right? I do wonder about like future generations and whether or not they'll even exist. Honestly, I do. Act of love, forgiveness, and faith. It always comes down to this, though: forgiveness and faith. Because there's this whole thing about like, oh, we're going to raise vibrations, right? Like, we want to raise vibrations and create a new earth, right? And it sounds a lot like what so many people are trying to separate themselves from, which is the second coming, Christianity, and the second coming of Jesus. Which I'm not trying to go too far off the deep end with that. But at the end of the day, love is such a high vibrational thing, to love and to show care and kindness and tenderness to something or someone outside of yourself, and even to yourself, right? It always boils down to loving one another. Like, that's how we reach heaven, or the quote unquote new earth, right? Which I don't think there's going to be a so-called new, oh, we're going to usher in the new earth. I don't know where the hell they got that from. I don't know. Somebody said it a long time ago, and folks just then took off with it. So I said, I'm not spiritual enough for some of these folks. I'm not. I'm not. But that's what it comes down to, though. It's like it's love. It's love. It's love. It's forgiveness. It's faith. One of the things my grandmother, my great grandmother, and so many others who have crossed over have told me, as far as how I can make the world a better place and just make my life, my own life, a better experience for me, is by love, by way of love and forgiveness, and just letting things go, not holding on to all of that emotional baggage, You know, I'm supposed to be talking about the stuff going on in the sky, and I think that's what this is about. You know, I, I think that's in large part what this is about. Like, I don't even think it's some big, huge conspiracy. Like, some things are really not as deep as we we try to make it out to be. You know, it's not. Some of it ain't. Optimism. Yeah, see, some of it really is not as deep as we try to make it out to be. Like, we inspire love, inspire hope, and forgiveness, and let things go. You know how short this life really is? Like, we're talking about things in the grand scheme of things, right? How small the earth is. You know, if we take a look at Jupiter, at the planet Jupiter, I don't know how many Earths can fit into Jupiter, but I feel like it's a couple hundred, right? If we, it's Jupiter is that massive, it's that huge, right? That many, so many Earths. Let me, I might Google that now. How many Earths can fit inside Jupiter? 1,321 Earths can't fit inside Jupiter. Is that massive? That's crazy to think of that, right? That's how small the Earth is. And our solar system is even bigger than that. And then there was something outside of our solar system that's even bigger than that. Like, this goes on and on and on. And it's just so much that, our little puny human brains can't even comprehend it, right? It's so much more than just that. And whenever we cross over, whenever we leave these bodies and move on to the next life, whatever happens after death, right? It doesn't just end after that. We carry this with us, right? Since we are energy, energy never dies. There's some pseudoscience behind that statement that energy never dies, right? We come back, right? We come back, and I saw some physics person explain that too, like how, well, if we're speaking from a somewhat scientific perspective, um, no, reincarnation from a scientific, a pseudoscientific perspective anyway, it's not implausible, right? Like, it's something that could possibly happen or possibly has happened, right? We've existed before. It's like, oh, it's all energy, it's all electricity, it's all, whatever, right? It's all of those things. So just think about how massive all of that is and how we just little petty shit. Teacher. Like, what are we here to learn? What is our purpose? What are we, oh, we decide that we're going to come here and we're going to live a certain, we want to go through certain experiences so that we can understand the human experience. No, it's not why we, it's not why we're here. So people also say stuff. A lot of people think that, okay, once we die, we're going to heaven, or that, oh, once we get to the other side, there's no black, there's no white, there's no male, female, we're just energy. Like, no, you take this shit with the same way you take the love with you. You take the hate with you too. You take it with you. I'm just saying. No, we're talking about the drones in the sky though. Do nothing. I think I will look at the book on this one. Where did I put the book? Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Do nothing is asking you to sit on your hands. That's right. Stop, blink, give it a beat. The core intent of this card isn't grounded in the spirit of indolence and apathy. It's not suggesting that you put up your feet and indulge in some quality navel gazing while others are working tirelessly around you. This card promotes an awareness that in some cases the wisest, highest good choice is actually inaction instead of action. That's actually reinforcing what I just said about there being about there not being a grand plan or a grand purpose for it all. It's like this. I'm not saying that God doesn't. I know God exists. I'm just saying that I don't think that this whole battle of good versus evil and all of that jazz, like I don't think that's actually a thing. Forgive me if I sound ignorant for saying that, but I think that's something that we, as a collective humanity, has, you know, or let me stop and rephrase that because there is such things like low vibrational demonic energy, right? So let me say that. But as far as there being like this battle between good and evil, that I'm not as convinced of as I used to be. I'm not. But what I do know is that this is overall this is a message that I have received from my folks before about just kind of staying quiet and gatekeeping to a certain extent. For me personally, I'm not called to preach the gospel, preach the good news about, oh, you can just do, this is going to save you. This is going to save us. We got to raise our collective vibrations. And then say, no, for a lot of the things that I have learned, for everything that I've learned or unlearned, I have new questions and new curiosities, right? And so sometimes I think, oh, I should tell the world about this, but then I get told, no, don't do that either because it's not, for one, it's not for you to tell. And for two, you're going to be using up a lot of energy that you could spend on something else because you're not going to convince everybody. You're not going to raise the collective consciousness. You're not going to save all the souls. Like most people who go to church go for a reason. They go because they already know what to expect there. Right? They already know. They're already looking, right? But for me to go out into the streets, they'll stand on the street corner and preach. Yeah, somebody might be called to do that, but it's not me. Right? Like the way that I'm supposed to help raise vibrations just by showing people love. Right? To let go of them grudges, even though I do be trying. I ain't gonna say I do be trying to hold on to them. I don't. I honestly don't, because I prefer to be happy or at a minimum peaceful. It's like, no, you gotta let that stuff go and be have a little more optimism because then I can manifest the things that I want to manifest, right? In order to get through this experience called life, right? So I might be here to teach. I'm sitting here rambling off a bunch of thoughts that may or may not make sense, and I'm aware of that. In my head, it makes sense, but to you who may be watching or listening, you're like, what the hell is she talking about? And that's fine. That's fine. Because I started off talking about these damn drones in the sky and I ain't got to the purpose of them drones yet. Or maybe I have. Maybe I have. These drones. Okay. So that witch. I cut all my nails off so I can't pick up stuff the way I want. Snake. Shine. Arcana. Peace. Perfection. Ancestry. And be you. Where am I going with this? Somebody is making this happen. When I say somebody, I mean somebody on Earth. I don't think these drones are like from outer space or anything like that. I think that this is we're going into conspiracy land. Okay. I don't think that this is it's evidenced by the witch card, which somebody who does magic or somebody who can make things happen, right? We think of witches cast spells and everything, right? And then snake, we tend to think of somebody who's sly, maybe sneaky, maybe liar, maybe seductive, seductress, seductor, right? These are not the aliens, right? And I don't think that these are drones that are, made to monitor the aliens, the alien activity here on Earth, right? They're here. I absolutely think that the aliens are here, but I don't think that's what the drones are. I think the drones are something that somebody cooked up. Now, who would do that? I don't know. I'm gonna look at this book though. I just got this deck recently, so excuse me for not knowing all the cards. But yeah, I think that is something that somebody cooked up. Psyop is what comes to mind. So, Arcana, truth, right? Kind of like what's going on with that young man who shot the healthcare CEO, the United Healthcare CEO, and he allegedly did it to shine a light on like all the injustices and everything that's happening with the American healthcare system. So he did it, to make a statement. Yeah, this is something that was created by somebody. There's a spiritual element to it. There's spirituality in everything. Everything is spiritual. Everything is energetic, right? But who would do it and why? I don't know. Maybe it is to help shine a light on the truth. That's kind of what it looks like a little bit with damn it, I need to grow my nails back. But with the shine and the arcana cards here, like you shining the light on the truth of what's actually going on in the world. Like the drones are, I don't think they're American. I do think they're lying, and it might be up to to us weirdos or who shine the light on what's actually happening. Peace. The ancestors are speaking though. Ancestors, spirit guides. Again, like I said, that veil is it's very, very thin. Very thin. Communication, body, visitation. Yeah. Vanity, tribe, observation. So yeah, martyr and self care. Yeah, um, for the people who watch this, should anybody watch it outside of myself, and who hang in there for this long of me rambling about any and everything? For one, take care of yourself. Okay, I mean, when I say take care of yourself, take care of your physical body. This is advice to myself too, so I'm listening to myself. Yeah, take care of your physical body. Take your vitamins, drink your water. Go for walks, whatever. Do that because it's not so important what's going on with the drones in the sky. It's weird. It's something that they're reporting on in the news. That's not. It's not the aliens, and it's not them watching the aliens. It might be it might be something from a different government, from a different country, but it's not. Oh, they're watching the alien activity. Of course, they're not going to tell us what those drones are. They're not going to tell us that. I mean, hell, maybe they are from the aliens. I can't confirm that. But whatever the case, what's more important here is to listen because, like I said, that veil between us and our friends on the other side, it is so thin. It is so the hell. It might as well not even be there, you know. And to some extent, a lot more people are waking up, you know. And for everybody who wakes up, 5 more people are going back to sleep. you know, for everybody who wakes up, somebody is going to turn around and be like, you know what? I thought I was into this, but this is really evil. I'm going back to church, right? And I mean, you can do this and still go to church. I know people who look at tarot cards and stuff, and they still go to church. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's just a tool. It's another way for your folks to communicate with you. You know, but this is a time right now that if you are not that in tune with your ancestors and your spirit guides and you want to be, now is the time to do it. Because the way things are going to go over the next few, because it's not something that, 2025 is going to be a shitty year, and then, what about 2020? Like, no, it's going to suck. I can't go into details about how or why because I don't know. I just know that they will, like, for the collective, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But just at the very root or the basis of, like, humanity, right? Like, we need something to believe in. It's like, well, believe in yourself. Okay, believe in yourself. Absolutely believe in yourself. But no, you need to believe in something outside of yourself as well. You need to believe in something outside of yourself as well. Not only because, it does help with, the human psyche, but also because there is something outside of yourself. It exists. It exists and it is seeking to be acknowledged, right? It's not just, I feel like whoever works at Disney who's in charge of the writing and stuff, I feel like they have at least a couple of folks on the team in the writers' room who was tapped in, because all these movies lately have been talking about the other side and the ancestors and stuff. Like, y'all know stuff. Y'all putting it in these movies. These things, these entities, these spirits, they exist. They exist, absolutely. And they're here. They are here. The aliens, they exist. They exist too. They're here too. But I don't think we need to be so concerned with them as we are with ourselves, and as we should be with ourselves or with each other collectively. Like, it seems only within like the last few centuries that human beings have gotten so smart that we don't seem to need um, our people on the other side. And if anything, we probably need them now more than ever. As we have the tribe card that falls underneath communication. So, like, not everybody's a witch, and I know what they say, as far as, I know what some people say as far as, like, oh, everybody's like, oh, we all have a little bit of psychic intuition. No, we don't, because the world would be a much better place if that were true. It'd be a much different place if that were true. And then there were some people who absolutely have it, and they absolutely abuse that shit. So, some people have no sense of, like, intuition and self-preservation. Like, zero, none. It's like, oh, so everybody's a little bit. No, they're not. No, they're not. So where this started out with me talking about, what the aliens or what the drones are, it says absence. Haunted. Objectivity. Limelight. Compass. But yeah, where it starts off, this started off for me, speculating or just tossing around the idea of like looking up in the sky and seeing stuff in the sky. Um, I'm still curious about what that meant, or if it meant anything. But yeah, I'm not. The aliens are here. They're here. They're here. Those drones. I've been rambling for damn near an hour. If you done held on for that long, God bless you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. God bless you. What's up with these drones? Star reverse. That's funny because we're actually talking about what's going on in the sky, right? The star reverse comes out first. All right, Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's going to be a wrap for the Earth here in the next couple hundred years. I ain't gonna lie. Four of Wands reversed. Like, this is giving like self-destruction. Like, people, we're at the stage now where we're creating all the robots and shit, and we really are gonna make the movie Terminator into real life. Machines rise up against us, the hermit. But on a more like woo woo, like personal spiritual development level, like I see here where like the lack of faith and the lack of hope, and also just a separation between us and our spirit people that we can't see, but they're still very much around us, how that relationship has been severed and it's very, very unstable, right? So, like, spirit or um, hope, or relationship with spirit and hope and the stars, right? How that has been severed, or it's dying, it's dead, right? And it has created something that's very, very unstable. Even if you're just looking at this from a purely secular, non esoteric perspective, right? The fact that there are so many people who truly believe that the earth is flat, like, I feel like I have a, I'm gonna say I feel like I have. I can usually feel my internal compass, right? So whenever I drive, I can feel when I'm in different places, right? I can feel it in my body when I'm facing north versus when I'm facing south. Like it physically feels different from me. I know I can't be the only person in the world who experiences that because it's like this. We're talking about like geomagnetic scientific stuff, right? So I feel like this is a fact. I feel like this is something that I could Google and find something to better explain what I'm trying to say. So whenever I travel up north, just driving down the highway going north, I can feel the changes in my body, the change in altitude and all of that jazz, right? I mean, hell, depending on where you're standing at on this planet, you can see it. You can see it. You can see the curvature of the earth. Like it's a thing, you know. So for so many people, I'm like, oh gosh. I mean, I understand, like the people who write the history books and the textbooks and stuff. I understand they can't always be trusted, but damn, come on now. Oh, and the amount of people who don't even bother to try to fact check this, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. Anyway, Page of Pentacles, Judgment in reverse. I don't think but yeah, like this collective, like, oh, there's gonna be a new earth. It reminds me of some of the a lot of Christian doctrines or what we're taught in church about there being a judgment day, and one day it's all gonna be over soon, and we're gonna separate the people going from heaven, hell, and the rapture and all of that jazz. But sometimes I feel like we're the ones who are left behind. I ain't gonna lie. Like maybe the rapture happened a long time ago, and we're just the ones that's still here. But the sun reverse. And again, like I said, I wonder how the smart people who come up with the calculations about what's happening in the sky and who observe and who do that for a living. I wonder how they come up with the numbers and the theories that they come up with. It's like we don't know. Like, we're saying that there's no life on Jupiter, but we don't know that. We ain't never been, right? Like we've been close enough to Jupiter that we can get some really nice pictures, but we haven't actually landed on Jupiter. Like we would die if we did that, right? That's what we're assuming based on what we know about the laws of physics and chemistry and shit on Earth, right? But those rules may not apply on Jupiter. Then the Two of Cups. So I asked about the drones. What's up with the drones? The drones is something to stir people up. I ain't gonna lie. This is something. It's not aliens. I'm not feeling aliens from this. I'm not. I feel like whoever's in charge of everything is messing with people. I think it's another country. I don't think it's aliens. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Six of Wands in reverse. I feel like all my cards in reverse. Knight of Swords. Strength. Magician. Somebody making it happen. That's all. Yeah. So it's somebody here on Earth, a human, that's making this shit happen. It's not a King of Pentacles. Somebody's bored, or maybe they're trying to threaten us. Maybe they're trying to throw people off their high horse. I ain't gonna say what I'm thinking. Three of Wands in reverse. All I'm gonna say is Queen of Cups in reverse. All I'm gonna say is stay prayed up. Stay prayed up. The message from the ancestors, the beloved dead, the beloved dead deck. I'm gonna just say stay prayed up. Get in touch with your ancestors. You know, if however you do that, you know, you pray. You have your altar. You know, ancestor reading. I don't know, you know, but do that because these next few years are not gonna be pretty. I did all of that rambling just to say that, but these next few years are not going to be pretty. All right, y'all.